Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to Drak Reviews, where we're taking on yet another episode in the Batman Telltale series. And today we're going to be taking on episode 4, which unfortunately, or Guardian of Gotham. I just barely remember the title. I've been sitting here for like 2 hours trying to remember. What was the title again? Episode 4, Guardian of Gotham. And before we go into episode 4, there are a couple of spoilers that I need to get into. So first of all, if you haven't seen any of these videos up until this point, this is the spoiler warning. If you want to play Batman by Telltale and don't want to be spoiled, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys hopefully when you get done with the series. You can check out what I thought of it. With that being said, here we go. So there are a couple of things I left out intentionally in the episode 3 review, and it's because I really felt like they were spoiler heavy material, but now that we're into episode 4, I can actually talk about them. One in particular was after the fight with we now know her name is Lady Gotham, or Lady Arkham. I was gonna say Lady Gotham. That doesn't work. After our fight with Lady Arkham, we're pretty bruised and beat up, and Selina actually decides to take us to her apartment to help recuperate. And at that point, you actually can have one of the crucial choices of the episode happens. You actually get a chance to have, well, a wonderful night with Selina, even though you're injured. So you can actually do that, or you can refuse. Now, before people jump down my throat, I decided not to. And the main reason I didn't was because I was going to say in my playthrough, but you guys haven't seen that. In my playthrough, especially for the Drak tries, because not a whole lot of the decision-making has changed, I've sided with Harvey. And I've tried to make sure that he knows that I'm his friend and I've got his back, especially when, I've got this whole, or Bruce has got this whole situation and Harvey's helping him. So at that point, I did say no, and it's just because Harvey is Bruce's friend, and I know that Bruce is a noble enough guy that he wouldn't do that. However, the next day, Harvey decides to visit Selina and catches, her and the equivalent of her underwear, and me in the equivalent of my underwear. Bruce. So obviously he comes to his own conclusions, and we're trying to say nothing happened, but Selina doesn't give a crap, and she's just like, you know what, me and you are over, Harvey. And we actually start to see the first signs. Well, our first sign was in the mayor's office, but the second one is now here of Two-Face kind of emerging. We already knew that after the drug got administered to him, that he was a little weird at that point, and this makes it come to a head. We find out he has a full-on second personality, one that's more aggressive, and he actually starts to fight with both Selina and Bruce, and we fight him off. And then at that point, we start to see just how broken Harvey is. So that's one of the pivotal moments. The second one was at the end. So all of New World Order is basically putting Bruce down. He loses his company. He loses his friend. He loses everything around him. And then the final nail in the coffin is when he has to hand over the company, Vicky Vale comes up to him and injects him with the drug. And then at that point, we actually find out the revelation that Vicky Vale is Lady Arkham. So already this is taking liberties into its own story, because I've never known Vicky Vale as a villain, but granted, I haven't read a whole lot of Batman. So we have that moment where we're now injected with this drug, and she basically sicks us on Oswald, who is making his statements. And we don't even get to see this happen from the transition to episode 3 and 4, but we've been basically told that we beat him within an inch of his life. We wake up in Arkham Asylum. And at this point, Bruce has no friends. Bruce has very little allies. He has no company. He has nothing to his name. And so you are basically in a cell in Arkham Asylum. And on top of that, given the reputation that Thomas Wayne has, you are not the best person in the asylum. Like, literally, they pay off a guard to try and murder you. So, and we're talking the inmates here. So that happens, but we are saved by the most unlikely of allies, I'm going to go with the name that they give him in the series, or in the game. It is John Doe, but it's very clearly an early Joker. He's got the green hair. He's already got the big grin. So he's there to help you. In the asylum, because he beats the crap out of the people who wanted to murder you. And then eventually we get to meet the lead psychiatrist over at Arkham. But we already kind of get the feeling we're in a bad situation. And what's worse, the drug is starting to still have side effects on us. So you occasionally, throughout episode 4, will still have these episodes where the drug is taking over and you are acting way more aggressively than you probably should. And so we're in Arkham Asylum. This John Doe wants to befriend us, but I played the more ethical route. There is actually a pivotal choice that you can get where John Doe will open up a route for you to be able to get access to a phone. And then at that point, you could call your lawyers and tell them to get you out of there. Or you can choose to stop the fight that John Doe actually begins. And I actually chose to stop the fight. Because I figured that's what Bruce would do. Bruce would not necessarily do something that was selfish. He'd do something more selfless. What made that more interesting is that we actually got to meet 2 other potential Batman villains. So we got to meet John Doe, who's potentially Joker. We got to meet Victor Zsasz, who, if you don't know the details on him, I would recommend that you guys look over to the Drak and Shadow Arkham Asylum playthrough, where Victor is featured. The other one was we got to meet the earliest concept of Mr. Scarface. The people might remember him from the Batman animated series. The mob boss that was a puppet and a guy was controlling him. You get to meet him too, but it's just a sock puppet at that point. And he's the sock puppet's more of a defending the guy instead of abusing him. So you get to have all these cool moments. Then you stop the fight, and eventually you are pulled out of Arkham. And you basically find out that Gotham has gone to hell overnight. Harvey Dent has basically created a goon squad to hunt down the children of Arkham. And they are no better than the police. In fact, they are no better than the children of Arkham in that case. And on top of that, you got barricades. Gotham, for the most part, like when you see it, it looked like a war zone. It really did. And you even get a couple of moments where, like, civilians on the street catch who you are, come and start crap with you, and any reaction that you make, you're already in an episode with a drug, and so you're just going to scream at them. And that just okay, so they're like, oh, well, Bruce Wayne's going to act this way. We're going to film it so we can just show everybody how much of a jackass he is. And even better, you have to get through this barricade, and the only way to get through it is Harvey's goon squad wants you to pay them. Okay, well, I'll admit that this was another pivotal choice. You could either choose to pay the guy off and then make you look even more guilty, or you can ram the barricade, which is going to make you look even more guilty. And so I chose to ram the barricade because I wasn't going to pay the guy, and frankly, I was done with dealing with all of the, quote, assholes on the street. But it's very clear Bruce Wayne should be nowhere near any of the streets of Gotham. Nobody loves him. He has no allies. In fact, Harvey, you even see this in Arkham, he is fully turned on Bruce. Fully. He committed Bruce to Arkham Asylum, and he says, oh, for the good of Gotham. Gee, it wasn't because you came into an apartment and immediately assumed that I slept with your girlfriend, was it? So people might notice that, like the previous episode, I have a whole lot of love for Harvey. Episode 4 pretty much makes sure that you don't have that anymore. Harvey is non-repentant at that point. He is out to get you. You even have some phone calls with him where you try to explain things and then finally you're just done. You're done explaining. You're done trying to be friends. You're just, you know what? Leave me alone, Harvey. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. And it gets even better is later on, he actually calls for the full seizure of the Wayne estate. Which does go into a major choice in the game. We'll get to that in a second, but it's like, dude, you're totally not on my side anymore, and I know exactly why you're not on my side. But at that point, it's very clear that Bruce can't get anything done in Arkham. I keep on saying Arkham. In Gotham, Batman can, though. And so at that point, you go full-on Batman to go investigate Vicky Vale. You go to investigate Oswald Cobblepot. And eventually, because I don't want to spoil too much of those. There's actually a lot of interesting moments, especially you go to the apartment or the home of Vicky Vale when she was growing up, and you get to see her foster parents who have now since been murdered, so that Lady Arkham has another distribution method for the drug, which you removed that distribution method when you took care of the trains. So at that point, we actually get to have that moment where we go investigate Vicky Vale. We also get to have a moment with not Commissioner Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon, I think is his rank at that point, where Batman's trying very hard to get the department to just focus on the children of Arkham, because basically when you go to the Vale's apartment, you find out where the warehouse is that she's storing all the drugs. Somehow that gets leaked to Harvey, and he blows up a city block in order to stop the children of Arkham. Wow, that's totally going to solve things, Harvey, huh? And you actually get to see this happen, and that creates even more problems with Bruce, because now he needs to get this stopped. But it all culminates to you're dealing with all of these various situations, trying to get the police to focus on the children of Arkham, not necessarily fighting against their own men or fighting against Harvey's goon squad. You're trying to put the pieces together while Harvey's breathing down your neck, while Oswald's breathing down your neck, and while the people of Gotham are breathing down your neck. But it all comes down to one pivotal decision that I have to spoil here because I have a feeling it's going to play into episode 5. You have a choice to either... So at this point, Harvey has called for the seizure of the Wayne estate and all of its money in order to fund his... The best part about that is to fund his goon squad, because he can't afford it. And so at that point, he's already said, at this time tonight, I'm going to seize the Wayne estate and all of its assets. And he actually will go to the Wayne estate to seize it. Or you're having a big problem now where your tech is being hacked by Oswald Cobblepot, and therefore you could have a potentially bigger problem in Arkham, because you see Batman has drones, he has a bunch of tech that is helping out Gotham that could potentially become a weapon against Gotham. So you have a choice. You either have to go to Wayne Tech to stop Oswald, or you have to go to the Wayne estate to save Alfred, plus try to stop Harvey. Here's where I have to spoil a little bit. I chose to go to Wayne Tech because I saw the bigger potential for a problem there, that Batman's tech on the loose would not be helpful. And look, let's just face it. We all know that Alfred can hold his own. He would figure out a way to be able to survive against Harvey. And in fact, what happens is, as soon as I made the choice, he immediately said, go to the Batcave, make sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that Harvey cannot get into the Batcave, and make sure that you're set. And then you go to Wayne Tech to confront Oswald. And it ends up in a really cool confrontation, being able to have a big fight, not only with Oswald, but also sneaking into Wayne Tech and doing it the Batman way to be able to make it work. But at the same time, having your tech being hacked by Oswald while you're going on. And one of the things I did appreciate with it is the way he's hacking it is actually a little Google Eye or Google Glass that looks like a monocle. So it's like, he's the Penguin. It's a little monocle, and now they've given him a tech reason to have it. So you take him down, you take care of the potential hack that's happening with Batman's tech that has been set by Oswald. And then it literally ended for me with the Wayne Mansion on fire and Harvey with a lighter in his hand, but also, holding the coin in his hand too. So I have the feeling episode 5, at least for me, will be going to confront Harvey. So already I can tell you guys, this continues to heat up really well. This is really good drama. Being able to see Bruce dealing with the drug, but also being able to find a counter agent for it, at least for himself, so that he can be Batman and not worry about beating the living crap out of anybody. But also being able to see it from Harvey's perspective, that Harvey's now fully unhinged. He is Two-Face as far as anybody's concerned. Seeing Oswald become unhinged because now he's given full reign now that he has Wayne Tech in his hands. And I also like the fact that episode 4 didn't have Vicky Vale in it, or Lady Arkham in it at all. It let us focus on the two known Batman villains, as well as, because, already at that point, we'd already been shocked by the fact we met a early Joker, early Victor Zsasz, And that was amazing. So, I mean, already I can tell you I'm geared up for episode 5. I cannot wait for the climax of this epic journey. And I can't wait to give you guys kind of the final review. I think that's going to happen next week, where I take on Batman episode 5 and give my final review for Batman by Telltale. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for all you guys do, for liking, commenting on these videos, subscribing. And of course, I will see you guys next time for the conclusion of Drak Reviews Batman by Telltale.